All right, so welcome back. So we are going to be looking at how to make a vulnerable ADCS server. Okay, so the very first thing we have to do is we have to go ahead and we have to start up a new machine here. So we go to File, New Virtual Machine. Next, we're going to install the operating system later. Next, we're going to say Microsoft Windows, Windows Server 2022, and then we'll just call this ADCS or something like that. Okay, oh, I already have that actually. I'm going to go ahead and delete that like right there. Go ahead and delete that guy. And we'll click Next. Next, make sure you save it where you would like to save it at. Now we're going to click on Finish. Now before starting this machine up, we want to go ahead and edit virtual machine settings. We're going to head down into the CD DVD SATA drive, and we're going to use an ISO image. That image that you download, that Server 2022 image that you download from Microsoft, you go ahead and drop into here. Okay, that's going to be an evaluation period one, right? So we can go ahead. Mine's on the G drive, so I'm just going to G server eval. All right, we're going to click OK. And then we go ahead and power this machine on. If you have not downloaded that eval from Microsoft, you can go ahead and download it. It's free download. You just go to Microsoft Download Center, download that, and you can download Server 2022. I think they actually have 2025 out now. I think 2022 might be the newest one that you can get though. But so we can say next if you want it all in English. Install now. We're going to go ahead and install a Windows Server 2022. Now this will last for 180 days. You can re-up it, but it'll last for 180 days. Okay, we're going to do the desktop experience here. Standard evaluation desktop experience. We'll click next there. We'll accept next. Custom install next, and it'll go ahead and it's going to install everything for us. So as it installs everything, let's start talking about some certificate services, right? So there's like 14 or something like that. I don't know. It's a large amount of different attack vectors that you can use for certificate services. Usually we're going to see on assessments it's ESC 1, 2, and 3. Those three are pretty easy. And then ESC 8, which is another one that you might see quite a few times, which is for HTTP. But this is pretty much when a domain user is able to put themselves into a certificate, right? If a domain user can utilize a certificate, then what they can actually do is actually call back for a hash from like an administrator or something like that. They can call back for the administrator's hash utilizing that certificate service. All right, so we're going to look at how to exploit that. There's a GitHub link, a pretty nice GitHub link, and we'll be looking at that whenever we get on. All right, and we can actually utilize PowerShell script and pretty much just copy and paste. I mean, it is super simple. And then from there, we can make sure that this ADCS machine can talk to our Kali machine, and we can use Certipy or Certipy AD. Within the course in the PDF, we actually use Certipy AD, but for some reason, certificates act a little wonky sometimes. So whenever we create that clone and then we put it onto the actual OneDrive there, that's why we kind of skip that section within the actual videos themselves. And that's why we're creating one that you guys create here, and you can go ahead and do what you want to do with it. So yeah, it just acts wonky. Sometimes they just start getting weird, things like that. But we're gonna work around that. But for Certipy AD and Certipy, the commands are the same thing. So you can use either command. You can use Certipy or Certipy AD. All right. And there's also a Windows one, a certified.exe. Now something else, whenever you get this little pop-up down here of click install tools, go ahead and install those tools. All right, this is going to make your life easier. Then you can copy and paste. You can from outside of the virtual machine here, so we can go over to Kali, we can copy and paste things into it. This is going to allow for us to full screen, just things like that. The little different VMware tools. You do have to do the same exact thing if you were to be doing this on VirtualBox. So this is getting ready. Let's go ahead. Let's let it get ready. Oh, actually, that was actually pretty quick. This thing's actually moving really quick, and I think there's only like 2 gigs of 2 CPU cores and 2 gigs of RAM on this thing right now, which is kind of nice that you don't really need much. One thing that I have noticed though, whenever you're starting up a Windows machine, is if you give it more, it's obviously going to move quicker. But once it's started up, go ahead and drop it down. Make your life easy. So here we got to give the administrator password. We can just do +SSW0RD exclamation point, something like that, or whatever password you want to give it. Okay, we'll do that again. So something easy that we're going to remember, whatever you want to make for your administrator password. And now we can see, hey, we are here, right? You can right click up here, set control delete at it, and we can go ahead and type in +W0RD exclamation point. And we now have a server up and running. All right, pretty quickly. That was pretty easy there. Let's go ahead and get those tools installed and everything like that. So we'll go over to the D drive, I think it is. or the E drive or whatever. No, on this was D drive. We have VMware tools, and we're just going to do the setup right here, the setup application. All right, this will get those tools installed. It will restart the machine. We are going to have to do that. So we'll restart it and we'll continue from there. Typical, yep, install. Should be super quick. As I say that, it goes ahead and slows down. And pretty much every single thing we're going to be doing is within a PowerShell script, which is nice, right? Oh, maybe we actually don't have to restart. Finish. Okay, cool. Restart is required for the PC restart to save this device. That's okay. We'll wait on that, right? We're gonna say no like right now. We're just gonna go ahead and wait on it. So we can go out to the internet, which is something you never do on a server, so you know. But we're gonna go out to the internet and we're gonna go out to GitHub and download a PowerShell script. Again, something you should never do on a server itself, especially as the administrator for the server, right? But we like to break the rules here. We're just gonna continue without signing in. We don't care. All right, so we'll go to we'll say ADCS practice exploits GitHub. All right, so we have a couple different things in here, right? I think it's this one, like right here. There's two of them, and they always get me. Okay, yep, it is this one. So ARTHOSZ, okay, ARTH0SZ, practice ADCS domain escalation. All right, this one actually has ESC7. That's what I was thinking, not ESC8, ESC7. So we can see that not only does he have pretty much the PowerShell script to be able to start it up, but also how to do every single one too. And he's actually using, I believe, CertPy. Yeah, he's using CertPy. We can also use CertPy AD. You can also use Certified, I think it is, .exe. Okay, or we can also try to use, what is it, Linwin which we're going to have a video about here in a little bit. So what we want to do first is we want to go ahead and install the Windows features, right? You can copy and paste this. You can leave the domain name as certified. You can change it up, whatever you want to do. But we have to go over to PowerShell, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to, I don't think it really matters which one, Windows PowerShell app. Yeah, I want to run that as administrator. I don't know why it's showing up like that. We're going to go ahead and we're going to run this. So we want to copy that, bring it over to here, run that, enter. And this looks like it will restart for us. Okay, make it restart. But we can see that what this is doing, it's installing the Windows feature AD domain services, okay, including those management tools. All right, this should be able to reach out to you. Well, it obviously can reach out to the internet. All right, sometimes this gets frozen, so you got to enter a couple times. And then from there, we're also going to get an ADDS forest. We're going to make a forest, right? And we're going to say that we are the forest, okay? We don't belong to any other forest, right? Let me go ahead and make this a little bit bigger. Hopefully it doesn't restart on us before that. Okay. Our domain name is going to be certified.local. Our domain net files name is going to be certified. We're going to install DNS, safe mode administrator password, convert to secure string. So that's your safe mode password link right there. If you needed it, you just go back to the site. There it is. All right. And yeah, that's pretty much what we're going to be doing like right there. So we could have put that into a script or just like I just did like right there, copy and paste. Like I said, sometimes PowerShell seems to get stuck. So hit enter a couple times and you'll start seeing it do things. All right. From here, I don't know if this is going to cause a problem right here. I don't think it actually will until we get to ESC7 if you try to do that one. But that's like where you start to look at how to actually do it, things like that. All right. We're also going to need to create two users on here, it looks like. And with that, we're going to need to create some new firewall rules, right? So that's pretty simple also. Okay, like I said, you could put all this into a script and run the whole thing, right? So that would be pretty easy. I have yet to try to actually run this without actually making this the domain controller first. It does say that it will promote to domain controller. I've yet to try that. So we'll see if it actually works or not on this. And I will be back with you all here in like a little bit, I think. I'll just make sure I'm looking up top there just to see what's actually happening. All right, there we go. So it actually restarted. I just want to see if there's any point actually stopping starting the video again. What if I could real quickly just be like, booyakasha, you know, put the other one in there like real quick. But it looks like we are going to be restarting here in a minute. There we go. I'll say we probably just restart ourselves, make it a little bit faster. But this is now going to restart. Once we restart, we can log right back in again. with our administrator password, that @SSW0RD exclamation point, and we can continue running these different commands on there. Hopefully it saved the web page. We'll find out. If not, we know exactly, we know how to get to it and everything. All right, so that took a little bit to get back to here. Let's go ahead and we will set up our control-alt-delete edit again. And we can go ahead and do, and as we can see, we are a domain now. We get this certified, right? So we do see that like right there. So we can go ahead and put in our password of PSNSSW0RD exclamation point. All right, now we're here. Let's go ahead and open up our Internet Explorer again. Hopefully it saved that spot. We don't know though. Let's also open up PowerShell again. Right click, run as administrator. And it doesn't, oh, yep, restore. Cool. Okay, now we're back to here. We can go ahead and we can continue on with what we're doing here, right? So let's go ahead and create those 2 users that it needs. It doesn't really need them, but it's just 2 users to be able to work with here. So if we're going to do this, we might as well just follow along. And then lastly, we can go ahead and do is install Windows feature for the AD certificate. This is what's actually going to install the certificate features like right here. Okay, let's go ahead and look over this command right here. All we're doing is just installing a user. So s.jackson is going to have that password. All right. And then we got Michael Role, so m.role is going to have this access control password. Then we create some firewall rules to allow for both inbound and outbound of port 389, which is LDAP, and 636, which is LDAPT, right? Secure. So from here, we're going to go ahead and we're going to install Windows feature AD certificate. So we do need to obviously have a certificate service down here, right? And we're also going to install ADCS Cert Authority. All right, looks like the key length is going to be 2048. That is something to look at whenever you're doing this, is that key length. We're going to keep it valid for 99 years. All right, and that's about it. We are going to be the enterprise root CA, obviously, and that's really about it, like right there. Our common name, certified CA. So this is pretty easy commands like right here. Nothing really going on. That's crazy in here. Once we do that, what we can do while that's loading, we can go ahead and go up to our import template.ps1. Go to raw. We can either wget this or just control A, control C, whichever one you want to do. I'm just going to go ahead and do a wget for this, like right here. And we can do a wget. We can just say that. Or maybe I didn't copy it. Try that one more time. Control C, control V. Tag, we just call it a.ps1 or whatever you really want to call it. All right, so we can now do a // a.ps1 or import module a.ps1 or however you want to do this. But it's going to go ahead, it's going to go through, and it's going to get that ADCS up and running, create the different rules and everything like that. And there we go. So now we have ADCS on here. So just to check that, we can go ahead and we can go to settings. Let's bring it back to instead of NAT, we'll bring it back to a bridge adapter or whatever adapter your attack machine's on. We can head over to the attack machine here. What we can do from here is we could do a certify, right? Now we do have 2 users on that thing, so we can say certify. We do want to also see what's going on with it, so we can do an IP config, right? 192.168.0.93, right? So let's go ahead. We also going to need those credentials. So we can say certify AD, and we'll just say find attack U. Boom, boom, boom. Let me just go ahead and do that. I just want to put in this IP address. It was .93, right? And then we need those credentials that we had earlier. So let's go ahead and hop back over into here. You can press back. Let's go grab those credentials that we got earlier. There we go, S Jackson. With that, so we can say s.jackson with those credentials like right there. And remember, when we're doing this, we're going to look at vulnerable scripts. Okay, because there's going to be a bunch of different certificates on here. So we really want to see what certify says is vulnerable. S.Jackson. All right, saying that we can't connect to it like right now. So 192.168.0.93. Oh, cancel that. Let's go ahead and make sure that is actually the IP address like right there. 192.168.0.93. Let me go ahead and, you know why? Or actually, I have config. Oh, this is why. 192.168, yeah, so can we ping 192.168.0.93? We can ping that, okay, but for some reason it's saying that we can't connect to it with those connection reset by peer, use debug to trace, socket SL wrapping error. Okay, so for some reason it's saying that we can't connect to it like that, like right there. I feel like we should be able to. Maybe we need to do like attack D for domain or something. And let's go ahead and grab that domain like real quick. NXC SMB, NXC SMB, 192.168.0.93. I believe it's certified.local. Yep, certified.local. Okay, so we can go ahead and do that. Attack D, I think it is. We say certified.local. You try that like right there. I never really had to do this with find before. Yeah, I didn't think so. I wonder if we could do the username at. It does have username at for certified AD. I never had to do it with find before, but we can go ahead and try it. So s.jackson, Jackson, I believe that's what it is, at certified.local. We can try that like right there. Okay, and there we go. So now we're pulling down those certificates. And we're going to look for the vulnerable ones, right? Now there's going to be a bunch that are vulnerable on here, but we do see this ESC1 like right here. So we know that ESC1 is vulnerable, and we should be able to do something with it. Now, just because it says that's vulnerable doesn't technically mean that's vulnerable, right? We should know that by now. Just because a tool says that, yep, this is something, doesn't technically mean that it is, right? So what we want to do is we want to actually manually enumerate this also. So we see that we do have a certificate authority, we do have a template name, client authentication is true and is enabled. So yes, this most likely is vulnerable because we also have this domain users and our enrollment rights like right here. Remember, the RSA key was 2048. We do have to look at this because this is something like 4096 or anything above 8192 or something like that, then we do have to change that whenever we do our request. Okay, that is something that, actually, I think there was a CTF one time. That's like where I learned that one. Then we do have to change it once we, if we do something like that and we need to actually request for a larger key. So let's go ahead and do our certify AD again. Okay, actually, I'm just going to go ahead and copy and paste the commands that I have from before, right? And ours is not going to be student, obviously. It's going to be the s.jackson, right? Our at, this is going to be certified.local, right? Certified.local. We do need to put in his password, which the password was a little bit crazy. We should probably change that so it's a little bit easier to remember. We'll go ahead and leave it as is for now. There we go. So we do need his password. It is .93 now, right? And our target's going to be .93 also. So our domain controller IP address is .93. Our certificate authority, right, is that certified CA, which we could go right back up here. We see that certificate authority is certified CA. All right. Our template name, we can scroll back up to our template name, which is what is called Vault ESC1. Who do we want to call for? We're going to look at the administrator and then the target there. All right, and now we have now saved a certificate and private key for the administrator.pfx. That's good news for us, okay? Because that means we can now use that certificate to grab the administrator's hash. All right, so to be able to do that, we need to authenticate to the domain controller. So we can do a certify AD auth, okay, because we're authenticate, right? We'll just go ahead and complete that. We'll say .93. All right, and this like right here is going to be for certified.local. Right, we have our username as the administrator, and then we have the administrator.pfx. Right, that's what we call for, right? We go ahead and enter here, and now we get the hash for the administrator. That's his hash like right there. So now what we can do is we can go ahead and pass the hash for like SMB execute. Let's say, we'll say, was it certified.local at 19 or certified.local slash administrator, right? Then we could just say at 192.168.0.93 tag hashes colon and then the hashes, right? And I just spell hashes correctly. There we go. I think I put that slash the correct way. We could try something like that. We could try evil WinRM in. We could try remote desktop in. We could try, there's a bunch of things that we could try now, right? We could try just netexec, straight up NXC SMB that, tac U, just to make sure that these do actually work, tac U administrator, tac H, put that hash in, we enter there, see if that actually works. Okay, and we do get a shell there, so we can actually say tac X, who am I, right? And we see that we are the administrator, obviously. Okay, so we can upload things. We could probably do WinRM. We could probably do remote desktop, all those good things, right? We can actually see if remote desktop's open on here. Mmap TACP3389 for 192.168.0.93. All right, it's actually filtered. We can go ahead and turn it on. And let's try to use xFreeRDP to pass a hash over it and see if that actually works or not. You do need certain permissions to be able to do that, to be able to actually pass a hash over something like that for remote desktop. But okay, so we go ahead and enable it. Let's go ahead and see if it is on now. It still stays filtered. It might just be, there we go. So it's open now, okay? So we can use xFreeRDP. We can try to do something with this guy. /u, I forget what it actually is for pass the hash. We're going to go ahead and do attack H for help, right? And then we can actually grep for PTH. I think it's just /PTH. I think that's what it is. It is, okay? So we can do an xFreeRDP /u, and this is going to be administrator, right, /v, I believe it is, for these guys like right here. Or it might be like, let me see here, /v, yep, /v, and we can say 192.168.0.93. Okay, then we can do a /PTH for pass the hash, right? We can put in our hash there, and then we can do like a dynamic resolution or whatever else we want to do. We can go ahead and try this. Like I said, you do need certain rights on to pass the hash for remote desktop, so this may not work like right here. But we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna give it that good old college try. There you go. Account restrictions are preventing this user from signing in. For example, blank passwords are allowed. Sign times are limited. Policy restrictions are enforced. So pretty much we can't use a pass the hash for an RDP with this. You can turn it on. There are ways to turn on. We could do that, right? We could look out on the internet or whatever else and figure out how to pass the hash and turn that on and everything. But for right now, we can't do it, right? So maybe that's something you do for your homework is figure out how to actually turn on remote desktop with a pass the hash, right? To be able to do that, then you can send that command up through SMB, and then from there, be able to pass the hash. So that's certified. Well, I also have 2 and 3 are within your notes. Pretty much all you got to do is change the IP address, change the domain name, and your user, and you should be able to exploit both certified 1, 2, and 3 by the time you're done with this course. Hopefully you all learned something. I like doing these little side videos, stuff like that. I like playing around with different things and just kind of having fun with them. So hopefully you like it also. Let me know. And yeah, I will talk to you all later.